My wife and I live in a normal suburb, with normal jobs and lives, surrounded by normal neighbors. We follow the standard American lifestyle that many are taught to strive for. Writing this story is out of character for me. The last time I wrote something this long was in college. However, something happened recently that no one can explain, and it still scares us to this day. It was an ordinary day for my wife, Gianna, and me. After work, we decided to go out to eat and returned home around 9 p.m. Since we don't stay up late on work nights, by 9:30, we were brushing our teeth and getting ready for bed. By 10 o'clock, we were in bed, typically turning off the lights by 11 o'clock but either reading our books or watching a show. That night, we were watching our show when the phone rang. Gianna told me not to answer it, suspecting that anyone calling at this hour couldn't bring good news. Despite agreeing, I decided to pick it up in case it was an emergency. As I reached for the phone next to the bed, it stopped ringing before I could lift the receiver. Our old landline was unreliable, and once a call ended, the caller ID would disappear, leaving no way to check the call history. I dismissed it as a wrong number. A few minutes later, the phone rang again. I grabbed it and saw unknown number on the screen. Gianna and I found this unusual, especially past 10 p.m. We both felt there was an unspoken rule about not calling after 9 p.m. I didn't pick up, but the phone rang again right after. This time, it felt urgent, like something might have happened to a relative. I picked up in a hurry. On the other end was our neighbor Al, asking if I knew the man standing in front of my house. Confused, I asked what he was talking about, but he just told me to go outside and hung up abruptly. I found this extremely bizarre. When I told Gianna what Al said, she looked terrified and urged me not to go outside. I assured her I'd just look out the window. I went downstairs, moved the curtain, and saw no one outside. I opened the front door, stepped out onto the stoop, and looked around, even checking the bushes. Nobody was there. Annoyed at the idea of Al prank calling us so late, I returned to bed and told Gianna no one was out there, and that Al was probably messing with us. She was just as confused as I was. She told me to call him back, so I did, but it went straight to voicemail. I left a message, asking what the call was about. Then the phone rang again, showing unknown caller. I picked up, and it was Al again, calmly telling me there was someone outside our house before hanging up. Frustrated, I got up and told Gianna I was going to see what was happening. I went downstairs and peeked through the curtain again. This time, I saw someone standing at the end of our walkway where it met the sidewalk. The figure wore a hood, obscuring their face in darkness. I was shaken. I opened the door and called out, "Can I help you?" The man remained motionless. I threatened to call the police. Then the phone rang again. I closed the door and answered the kitchen phone, seeing Al's number on the caller ID. Al's voice was normal this time. He asked about my voicemail, insisting he hadn't called me earlier. Confused, I explained what had happened. He was equally perplexed, saying he didn't see anyone outside my house. I looked out the window again, and the man was gone. I demanded Al tell me if it was a joke, warning there'd be a problem if it was. Al, who isn't the type to prank, swore he was telling the truth. To confirm I wasn't going crazy, I put Al on speaker so Gianna could hear him, and he did the same with his wife. We eventually ended the call, both families baffled by the situation. I went downstairs one last time to hang up the phone. I looked outside once more, and the man was still gone. None of us ever figured out what happened that night.